Alright, welcome back to Satisfactory, Part 9, if I'm not mistaken. It's Part 9 of a long-running sort of series that I've been doing, sort of keeping track of how everything goes, but I think installments are going to get a little bit more spaced out now. The last stream, this is where I stopped the last stream, but the stream actually didn't take, so y'all didn't get to see the nice big zoom out of the Fixmas tree. And now that Fixmas is actually over, I really need to take down all my Fixmas decorations. But for now, I figured I would do a quick factory tour, just to show everyone what's going on with all this. So, to start at Central Hub Terminal East and West, you come here and there's a giant blueprint area thing, blueprint designer. This is where a lot of my new blueprint schematics are going to be made that I plan on implementing into the factory from here on out. And then, coming over here, through the plaza, which will be slightly different in the future, we have the original main facility. But, yeah. This is sort of where everything starts happening. This is where everything sort of began. And I just want to keep redoing this place, because I feel like I can keep doing it better. I can redo it better and better every time, maybe. But then we have the Central Hub Depot, which is where Plastubber, which is plastic and rubber, genius, obviously, that's where that comes in, to deliver both, obviously, plastic and rubber to the depot, if that makes sense. Then we have the Hub Rail Yard, which is, believe it or not a yard. It's actually on the roof. We have north and south here. This is where sulfuric acid and alumina solution get delivered from other facilities out in the world. See, we have sulfuric acid here and alumina solution, and they all sort of lead in to make batteries to power all of my vehicles. Which I probably need to look at this and see. Yeah, we're not quite full yet. It's not full, so we can leave that be for now. If I go over here, gosh, I realize that the keyboard is probably ridiculously loud and probably going to get annoying at some point, but it'll be okay. So then I've also got a drone, which is really neat. I love this thing. I feel like it's judging me, but anyway. Yeah. Little drone port, and it basically delivers fabric to this location to help build gas masks and iodine filters for surviving out in the world. So then we drop down here. This is where the newest stuff is happening. This is Station 16, a very generic name for a very generic rail line. But this is the Dragon train that will take us from the main hub area, the original hub. Textures are being a little finicky. But so I haven't haven't finished this rail line yet, and honestly, it's probably not going to finish the way that I think it is. Instead, it's going to have to be reworked to fit what I'm needing this train to do, which is I'm going to have this train run around all across the map, picking up as much, like, it's probably not going to run across the entire map, just to a specific set of depots all around the map, and it will pick up basic resources to bring to this new facility that I'm about to show you. But the thing is, I haven't built any of these depots that are for this train yet, nor have I got the new facility completed yet. It's all still a work in progress, but I figure it's a good time to show you. So that out there, way out there, out yonder, you can say down here. Anyway, that out there, that is the new facility. Residual Industry Partnership. Or Residual Industry. I don't know, something like that. Either way, the acronym's RIP. It's just a fun little thing I did at the beginning of making this save file, so I figured we'd make it come full circle. I'm not sure why the textures are being funky like they are, but maybe it'll figure itself out soon. Go ahead and back it on into Station 15. Station 15 is where the new hub begins. Yeah, I'm not sure why everything's acting all like it doesn't load properly ever, so it's kind of unusual. Anyway, Residual Industry Partnership. This is where the headquarters is. I am extremely proud of the headquarters here because they look nice and clean, and it feels clean. RIP welcomes you. Don't worry, it's actually a really nice place. So this would be like the main office over here, or my main office. This is where I get to stand and look at all the beautiful places and all the stuff that's going on out in the distance. And then the rest of this, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all this place yet. I'll have to renovate and add lighting and stuff later. But right now that's just sort of a central area. I've also started working on making like ramps and things that go over railway systems, just to see if I can get it to work right, and I am really pleased with this, how this turned out. Sure, the interior is a little odd and makes a little less sense than normal, but it looks really good and clean if you don't go like all the way under there. Plus automated trains are going to be running under there anyway, so you don't really get to see all that, and it kind of just looks like shadows underneath the bridges anyway. So then over here, immediately connected to the rail system, this is going to be the sorting depot. I think the stream actually cut off while I was making these signs, so this is what the first rail car is going to hold: iron ore, copper ore, limestone, the usual first three. So then I don't know really what these are going to hold, but I've got placeholders here. I'm thinking deuterium, sulfur, and polymer resin, but honestly, and then over here raw quartz, packaged oil, and aluminum scraps, but I don't know if that's how that's actually going to play out. I feel like I probably need to dedicate an entire coal mine to just transport it, to just putting coal into a rail car. But then again, if I do that, then that's going to be overpowered and probably overflow the entire system. I don't know. It's that part of the logistics I'm gonna have to work out when I start building the external depots. So then, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my trusty old Explorer here, and I'm gonna show you the power plant for this area, because I've actually built a power plant, if you can believe it. Well, at least most of it. I think you're gonna be really impressed. It looks good from the outside, but on the inside it's pretty empty, because I haven't figured out exactly what I want to do with it yet. So, I also parked my factory cart here, so it's also here. Yeah, there's my factory cart over there. But here we go. So inside of this building, this great big building with the industrial fluid tanks on top, it's just a big empty room with 5 coal generators. So then there's a door right here that leads down to like the maintenance area, it also leads to the ground. But this area is not complete yet. This is just where the coal mines are. These miners spit out coal to send up into the generators. It's a pretty useful system. So then I'll go ahead and show you where I'm getting the water from too, because to have coal generators you have to have water, and it's a little hard out in the desert getting water, as you can imagine. So what I did was I found a water node that wasn't too far away from these coal generators, but it needed to be pressurized, so I built this pressurizer thingy and these well extractors and hooked them all up into a pipe, and now it all travels up to the main facility into those extra large industrial water tanks, which is great for having like backups and reserves. And then it just travels down into the back of the facility. You wouldn't be able to tell that from inside or from the front, and honestly that's probably the best thing. I need to design a whole system of transporting materials up floors and all that, but that'll be for a later time. And then if we go over here, the main floor is empty, so this is like roof access. This is where, you can come up here, check the smokestacks, go up to the fluid containers. But this area right here, I don't really know what I want to do with this room. This could be anything. This could ultimately turn into something where sulfur gets like delivered to this room, and then coal gets sent up into this room and processed into like compacted coal or something. But I'll have to figure that out later. There's just so much I want to do with all this, but it's hard to get the time and resources together to actually do it all. And I've been really busy lately putting together a lot of brand new content to put on my YouTube channel, and I'm so excited for everyone to see it. It's just, I have to I gotta pace myself a little bit, because it's one of those things. I feel like I've been throwing out content left and right, and it hasn't been all that great. So I feel like if I slow down and I actually work on it a little bit more, it's going to be a little bit better. It's just kind of like my factory. I actually slowed down and started working on all this, and it's a little bit better. I've got a lot more room to work with. It feels a little bit smoother feeling over here. It's just, there's nothing going on yet. Kind of like my channel. There's not much substance yet, but it's starting to look a little bit better. The substance will come with time, though. And I guess that's the big takeaway here. Anyway, enough talking about, some meta things like that. What was that other thing that I wanted to do? Oh man, I went and left the Explorer over there. Well, I could. No, I'm just gonna leave it. Suffer the consequences of my actions. Might as well. Alright. So, I think my plan now is to show you all where everything else happens. So this is going to be the part where it gets a little bit tricky to navigate, because I've got an automated train running around, and I'd like to, not get squished by an automated train. So, yeah. And I know there's a lot of ore nodes out here in the desert, like I was saying. I think I said it at one point, but maybe the stream didn't pick it up. I don't remember if that's where it cut or anything, but regardless, there's a lot of ore nodes out here, and I need to utilize a lot of them. But I also kind of need to figure out my main system first before I start going excess with that. It's one of those things that it's going to drive me crazy trying to figure this all out, and now that I've actually started back recording Satisfactory, I'm probably not going to be able to stop. So, expect more content in the future, especially from Satisfactory. This is sort of like the main game, I guess, of my channel that I play. But I really want to kind of be a variety. I want to kind of show you all different things, new things that I would find interesting, and maybe you'll find interesting too. But I guess that's all subjective or objective. Anyway, I don't know. So the rest of the factory is sort of scattered out, all over the place. And as you can imagine, it takes a lot of power to actually run this whole facility. Then you'd be right, but we'll get to that. You'll see. Brain not working. Insta stop. Okay. So if I come over here and just fly on up, that's kind of one of the things I love about this part, is I have the ability to just use the hover pack around this area as much as I want. Other areas can't really do that, so I need to switch to my jetpack. And yes, I've left notes for myself all over the place. I need to get these Fixmas decorations down. Groundbreaker is on its way over to to Zen's End, I believe. But there's a coal plant down there. I believe I've shown you that. But here's the Caterium area. It's sort of an open air facility at the moment. I plan on closing it all in eventually, but for now it's doing that because I needed it all immediately. So, but down here we have the coal plant and sulfur works, which is where the magic happens for making sulfuric acid. It also makes compacted coal to feed these fuel generators, these coal generators down here. So, we have that running. Then we have over here, it feeds excess sulfur into this to make sulfuric acid, which dumps into this, and honestly I haven't filled that up yet. I'm probably going to at some point because I need that to make other things related to nuclear energy, which is something I've wanted to expand into for a while, but I just don't have the proper system. And this is one of the bridges I've actually made. I think I made a tutorial on that at one point, but I don't remember if it's stuck or anything, but maybe I could remake the tutorials and stuff later. So, not traveling on this rail via train because if I do that, I will derail Groundbreaker, and I'll also derail the Pioneer Mover. It's an unfortunate system that I have going where there are no path signals, there are no block signals, it's all just one rail really. And I've made unfortunate bypasses so that the Groundbreaker can function independently. Adios, Groundbreaker. Yeah. I mean, it's a great system. I like it. It's a good system. It works. That's all I really ever needed it to do anyway. But it leaves a lot to be desired, which is part of the game, I guess. The parts that are left to be desired, you have to figure out a way to reach them. That's the fun part. So we'll go ahead and take the left here, which is the route to get to Zen's End. And I named it that because I figure, you know, a factory in a bamboo forest is obviously, you know, the end of any kind of peaceful meditation you're gonna get out there. Ooh, barrel nut. Sorry. Strike of that was the strike of the ADHD there. It's really fun. Ooh, barrel nut. Barrel one again. Anyway. So let's go over here. This is Zen's End, an open air facility that's basically just put on the ground. When I say open air, it's just an excuse for my laziness of needing a resource right then and there, and not actually putting the time or effort into building a proper factory building for it. You know, we just kind of do that sometimes. There's also, I believe, there's a coal miner out there that is sending coal over here to process alumina solution into alumina scraps, which will in turn be loaded up into, well, it'll load up into that machine, that foundry there, which is running silica and aluminum scraps to make aluminum ingots, and then it all gets loaded up into the train over here. So it's an okay system. It's still not the best. I have a lot of optimizing to do. So then the train can loop back around and it goes back to the facility that way. However, we are not going back to the facility. If I were to have taken a right at the junction where I came to Zen's End, I would have ended up over here. That, as you can see, right about there. That's the junction. Right there. That's where the track splits. The rails can come over here. And this is the storage facility, the storage depot. This is where me and old Renzi, we did a lot of testing. We did some testing with the factory carts, and let me tell you, it was fun. So, we also built that, and, yeah, ascended, basically. So there's also this really neat little thing. This is the first place that I worked with a blueprint designer. It was so good, and I just thought, man, I should put one of these in the original facility, just so that I've got a reason to keep the place. So I did, and this is where everything gets stored nice and neatly, most of the time, as long as I remember to store it. And fun fact, there's a whole backside to it that's kind of a little overgrown, but it's comprised of 2 industrial storage containers per unit. So, I mean, I think 2 except for the top row. The top row doesn't have 2 units. The top row, I think, is just a lot more special items compared to everything else in the everything else in storage. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't yawn or sneeze or something. I do this as if I'm getting bored, but I'm actually very much not bored. I love this stuff. Like, believe me, I wouldn't have a series this long if I was bored of it already. Now, going this way. Oh boy, I've got myself in a situation. Time to bail. Okay, is Groundbreaker coming?
Your contract legally compels you to harvest this artifact.
Groundbreaker, are you coming this way? Yes, Groundbreaker's coming this way. Ooh. Good. Oh no. Okay, I guess I'm riding on the side now. No! Oh. Well, at least it dragged me a little bit of the way. Bellberry. So yeah. Let's see. And I love how I can still use a jetpack and still somehow drink this coffee. Honestly though, what is this coffee though? It doesn't move like normal coffee. Those are some nice fluid animations though. I do kind of like that. Now if only there was an option to just spit the coffee like if something just absolutely shocking happens, you know, you have an emote to just spit out your coffee. I don't know. But then again, that would be a little unusual, I think. Probably not satisfactory. But, anyway, this is Calamitous Station, the first train station that I ever built. It's a big, empty nothingness at the moment. It's just, really, it was intended to be modeled after what I think a real train station looks like. Lots of big windows, a terminal, you know, all that good stuff. But then eventually it turned into, oh, it's just a little sub-base along the way. And then it turned into, oh, it's Fixmas decoration storage. So that's all it is now, is Fixmas decoration storage. Okay, so heading over here to the right, we get to the Neptune Energy Plant. This is a place. Let me tell you. The Neptune, that is I believe that is Monroe Falls, and that's just like where everything will funnel out of here eventually. There's a reason that that's green. There's a reason I painted this green. And that reason is this is the nuclear train, the Halt Tech. Halt. Like, you know, halt. Anyway, the point being, I believe there it is in the upper part of the screen there. Yeah, the joke about that is it's basically a nuclear train. It goes all the way up these tracks, up to a miner that's at the very tip top of that, and it grabs uranium. However, it's not doing that anymore because I originally made a very horrible issue where that was just full of uranium and I couldn't even get hardly as close as that building right there to that station without getting radiated. It was a problem. And now I've got like concrete being made over here, which is going to be useful later. And then, so here's the next part. We're going to head over here, little coal facility. I've still got one coal miner that I've had plugged in forever but never used, and I'm not sure why I did that. Maybe I was thinking in excess that day, but anyway. Hey, barrel nut. Following the tracks in this direction, barrel nut. We basically make our way through the dune, through the, I believe, I don't remember what this place is called. I keep calling this the Miasma Desert because it often turns like this really pink purple color, and it reminds me of the miasma from Skyrim, so it's the Miasma Desert in my head, even though I know it's absolutely called something else. But following the rails this way, this takes us down to the, I believe this is the second the second base that I ever built, the second factory. I call it a base, but it's more like a factory anyway. I could have taken the Pioneer Mover because there's not an automated train that runs on this track. It's just the Pioneer Mover for this track at the moment. So going this way, as you can see, rendering in the distance ever so slightly is looks like parts of a factory, and you'd be correct in thinking that. Hey, barrel nut. So really, this intersection doesn't make a difference because it just loops around. If I go that way, it'll turn me around, turn the train around. But just grabbing as many barrel nuts as possible because I know I need to make more medical inhalers. So this is a Hamburglar Central. It used to be Hamburg something anyway. I shortened it to Hamburglar. Just for fun. And yeah, the Fixmas stuff is still in operation apparently, even though I thought I shut it all down. I guess I forgot to do that. It happens. But yeah, this was the second facility that I built, and it's a little more organized. As you can see, it started out a little more organized. Like it had concrete, iron, and copper way down there. But this is also where I ended up building things like modular engines for the space elevator parts. And then right here, you know, you got the copper and everything, which eventually got turned into a copper ornament making machine for a Fixmas. And there's one more location to explore that hasn't been seen yet. And I don't know if I've shown off this location yet. But this is one of the locations that is the most essential to any part of this factory. Without this section of the without this segment of the factory, none of it would work. And that says a lot. This is the powerhouse, basically. This is the oil fields. This is where I've basically built a whole amalgamation of pipes, and I believe it's called, my brain can't think. It's not a foundry, it's hang on a second. What is this? Refinery. That's the word. I've built a whole mess of refineries, pipes, fuel generators, and they're all powering a majority of the plant. Like a majority of everything out in the world space is powered out here. The little substations, like the coal plants and all, those are just mostly for show. It's maybe only slightly for use. It's just something to kind of help boost power a little bit, but also it's mainly just for show, so that I've got smokestacks and stuff. Because smokestacks are fun. I wish I could put some more of these out there in certain places, but I know that's just inefficient and terrible, and I don't need to do that. But this is where the oil processing goes on. It's a pretty decent process here. So far, everything runs pretty smoothly, at least to my knowledge it does. Can't complain. And also over here is where that textile drone, I call it the textile drone, but I'm pretty sure it can be used for more than that. This is where it picks up the fabrics and takes it back to the main base. It's a good system. And then of course have some power storage out here, just in case things go down. It's got a backup. But yeah, I have lots of plans for expansion in the future, and I'm really excited to come back into this with even more ideas. But in this video, I just kind of wanted to show off the whole factory that I've got set up. I think the only thing I didn't really show off was the original facility. I didn't show off the... Oh, let me head back and show you the ground level of the main facility. This shouldn't take me too long. We got Blade Runners and a jetpack. We've been moving quick. So, in the meantime, I reckon I could take this moment to say if you do like the content that I've been making, feel free to like it, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, or if you want to see what I'm doing whenever I do post it here, subscribe to the channel. I'm also on a couple different platforms, but this is ultimately one of the main platform that I want to be on. So I'm going to do a lot more here compared to anywhere else. But I do, have links in my about section if you want to check out any of the other places I may put content. It's entirely up to you. I do appreciate you for watching this far into the video, and hey, it's great to have you here. Honestly, couldn't do any of this without people that watch this. Sometimes, even when I live stream, it's great to have people watching the live stream and kind of commenting and giving out pointers or advice, or daring me to do crazy things like build this, that, or the other. Especially with Satisfactory, I love taking up ridiculous challenges. Like, it's sort of my whole drive is to I just get this idea to build something, and I'm like, I gotta do that. And like, if it's a good enough idea, I might actually try and do it. But I guess that's just like incentive, I guess. We are getting relatively close to where the original base is, but this is the original the original coal miner. That fed the coal power plants when I swapped over to using coal power. It still does, just for good measure. You never know when you'll need it again. We'll make it. Alright. Woo! Yeah, this is a whole mess of conveyors, miners, and all sorts of stuff, but anyway, here's the main floor. This is where the magic happens. Well, I mean, it's not lit up too great right now. I really need more lights, but this is where the magic happens. Everything that gets fed into this building is mostly processed here. Some of it happens upstairs in the manufacturing machines, but all the little tiny pieces that turn into things that get bigger and better along the way, it all starts down here. This location, this is where everything gets built. And I love this area. It looks so busy. It's like it's got everything going on at once. It's just nice to walk through and know whatever I'm doing. I can walk through here and know that as I'm walking, there's like at least 1,000 things happening per second out here. And that's the fun of it, I think, with all this. Like, there's a lot that goes on in here, and I really need to put more lighting in here. It is dark. But anyway, I also have this little thing here. So yeah, this, of course, Renzi's wanted poster. Katarina being the CEO of Fix It Incorporated. The Pioneer Store, which still has its Fixmas logo on it. Maybe it'll do something. Anyway. Let's see. Oh! I like that. It's kind of funny. So, yes. Yep. I don't think there's anything else I can really do here with that, so yeah, that's okay. So then, let's see, this was the manufacturer floor. This is where basically the big stuff gets made, like supercomputers, crystal oscillators, regular computers, you name it. Even radio control units. And then there's this station here. I already described that one. That's Plastover. And there was one more location that I know I didn't show off. And that's actually my first prefab that I ever made. Okay, thank you, game, for that quick jettison up into the air. This is the first prefab that I ever made. This is the steel foundry. It's not lit up very well, but it works. And functionality over fashion, I reckon. So, basically, the only thing that happens in this building is steel, I believe that's, what is that? Steel beams and steel pipes. That's all that gets made out here. Look, there's Groundbreaker. And I think the best thing I can do right now, before I have to take it all down, just one last quick look. I think to wrap up this video, just a quick pan out, looking right there at the giant Fixmas tree, holding a cup of coffee, and seeing everything in the background. I want to thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.